The thunderous roar of 50 Harley-Davidson engines echoes across Pinnacle Academy like rolling thunder. Every student on campus freezes as the deafening sound reverberates through perfectly manicured courtyards. Everyone knows something massive is about to unfold, the kind of reckoning that changes everything forever. But only 3 of the most powerful men in the city understand that what they're about to witness will shatter their world completely. Hunter Blackwood thought humiliating teacher Ruby Patterson would be nothing more than an entertaining lunch break. He had no idea that Vincent Viper Hayes was watching from the shadows. What Hunter couldn't see beneath Ruby's gentle exterior was a network of protection he never imagined existed. And he was about to learn exactly what happens when privilege collides with real power. If you're already getting chills from this story, hit that like button and subscribe, because this tale of justice will absolutely blow your mind. And if these stories of people standing up to bullies inspire you as much as they inspire me to share them, consider hitting the thanks button below. Your support helps me bring you more incredible stories that need to be heard. Thank you for being here with me on this journey. 3 weeks earlier, Ruby Patterson walks through the imposing iron gates of Pinnacle Academy for the first time. Her worn leather bag contrasts sharply with the marble facades and manicured gardens surrounding her. At 26, she carries herself with quiet determination, despite the butterflies dancing in her stomach. This job represents everything she's worked toward since aging out of foster care at 18. The Academy's reputation precedes itself. $80,000 per year tuition, 10-year waiting lists, and graduates who become senators and CEOs. It's the kind of place where dreams either come true or get crushed under designer shoes. The cafeteria stretches before her like a cathedral of privilege. Crystal chandeliers hang from vaulted ceilings, while marble floors reflect the morning sunlight streaming through stained glass windows. Students cluster at tables that might as well have invisible barriers. The social hierarchy here isn't just understood, it's enforced with ruthless precision. Ruby notices how conversations stop when certain people walk by, how some students seem to command the room with nothing more than their presence. Hunter Blackwood owns the center table like a throne. At 18, he possesses the kind of confidence that comes from never hearing the word no. His custom-tailored uniform costs more than most people's monthly salary. His Rolex Submariner catches the light as he gestures dismissively at a scholarship student who accidentally bumped his chair. "Watch where you're going, charity case," Hunter's voice carries across the room with practiced cruelty. The targeted student hurries away without making eye contact. Hunter's companions, Ethan Vanderbilt and Logan Sterling, laugh on cue. Their coordinated response suggests years of practiced intimidation. Ruby doesn't know it yet, but Hunter has already noticed her. His pale blue eyes track her movement across the cafeteria with predatory interest. In his world, new teachers are either assets to be controlled or obstacles to be removed. There's never been a middle ground. His father's hedge fund owns 40% of the school's board. His mother chairs the parent committee that decides teacher evaluations. Hunter learned early that power isn't just about money. It's about making others understand their place in the food chain. Outside in the visitor parking lot, a lone motorcycle sits between luxury SUVs and imported sedans. The black Harley-Davidson looks out of place among the wealth on display. Vincent Viper Hayes adjusts his leather jacket as he watches the school through tinted windows of the main building. Most people see a mechanic picking up his nephew, but Vincent sees everything differently. At 42, he's mastered the art of invisibility in plain sight. His weathered hands have seen more violence than most soldiers, yet his eyes hold the intelligence of someone who's survived by thinking 3 steps ahead. Vincent notices things others miss, the way certain students walk with artificial confidence, the subtle power dynamics playing out in seemingly casual conversations. His trained eye immediately identifies Hunter as the apex predator in this ecosystem. Everything about the kid screams entitlement and cruelty. When Vincent spots Ruby Patterson navigating the social minefield with obvious discomfort, something stirs in his chest. She reminds him of his sister Maria, who died 15 years ago after being driven to suicide by wealthy classmates who thought her poverty made her fair game. The first week passes like a carefully orchestrated dance. Ruby throws herself into teaching with passionate dedication, while Hunter studies her like a chess master planning his opening moves. He notices her second-hand clothes, her beat-up Honda Civic, her lack of family photos on her desk. Vulnerability has a scent, and Hunter's learned to track it. During her third day, he stays after class with a manufactured question about calculus. His real purpose is reconnaissance. "Miss Patterson," Hunter's voice drips with false respect. "I was wondering if you'd be attending the faculty mixer this weekend." Ruby looks up from grading papers, surprised by the seemingly innocent question. She doesn't recognize the trap being set. "I wasn't planning on it," she admits. "I'm still settling in." Hunter's smile never reaches his eyes as he nods sympathetically. Of course, these social events can be expensive. The suggested donation is usually around $500 per person. Ruby's face betrays her shock at the amount. Hunter files the reaction away for future use. Vincent begins appearing around the school more frequently. Officially, he's picking up his nephew Marcus from chess club, but his real purpose is intelligence gathering. He parks at different locations each day, memorizing staff schedules and student patterns. Old habits from his Navy SEAL days die hard. Through careful observation, he identifies the school's power structure and spots the warning signs of systematic bullying. The way certain students avoid specific hallways, the fear in some teachers' eyes when particular names are mentioned. Hunter launches his campaign during Ruby's second week with surgical precision. He starts with whispered rumors that spread through the academy like wildfire. "Did you hear about the new math teacher?" The gossip begins innocuously enough. "Someone said she used to work at those massage parlors downtown." The lie gains credibility through repetition. By Thursday, parents are calling the administration with concerns about Ruby's background. Hunter watches from across the cafeteria as Ruby checks her phone during lunch. Her face crumples as she reads messages from friends warning her about what's being said online. Ethan Vanderbilt handles the technical aspects with disturbing efficiency. His father's banking connections taught him about digital warfare before he turned 16. Using sophisticated photo manipulation software, he creates compromising images that look authentic enough to fool casual observers. The pictures spread across social media platforms faster than Ruby can report them. Her professional email gets flooded with harassment. Her personal accounts receive threats that make her hands shake as she reads them. The psychological assault intensifies when Hunter moves to Phase 2, financial destruction designed to leave Ruby desperate and isolated. Using his family's connections in the banking industry, he orchestrates a series of routine audits that freeze her accounts. Suddenly, her credit cards stop working, and her rent check bounces. Ruby finds herself standing in her landlord's office, trying to explain why she can't access her own money. The man's sympathetic expression turns cold when he receives a mysterious phone call during their conversation. "Miss Patterson," the landlord's tone shifts dramatically, "I've just learned about some concerning information regarding your background. I think it would be best if you found alternative housing arrangements." Ruby stares at him in disbelief. She's never been late with rent, never caused problems, never given him any reason for complaint. "What information?" she asks, but he's already walking toward the door. "I'm sure you understand my position. You have 30 days. Vincent watches these events unfold with growing anger. He recognizes the coordinated nature of the attacks and knows exactly who's orchestrating them. His network of contacts, built over decades of legitimate and illegitimate business dealings, confirms what he already suspects. Hunter Blackwood is using his family's influence to destroy an innocent woman for sport. The revelation awakens something dark in Vincent's chest. Memories of his sister's tormentors flash through his mind like scenes from a nightmare. Ruby's third week becomes a masterclass in systematic persecution. Hunter escalates to professional sabotage with clinical precision. Test answer sheets get mysteriously altered, making it appear that Ruby is manipulating grades. Parent complaints flood the administration about her alleged inappropriate behavior during parent-teacher conferences. Principal Morrison, whose own job depends on keeping wealthy donors happy, calls Ruby into his office with poorly concealed hostility. Ruby, Morrison's use of her first name without the title feels deliberately disrespectful. We've received some disturbing reports about your conduct. Ruby sits across from his massive mahogany desk, feeling like a defendant in a rigged trial. The complaint folders stacked before him seem impossibly thick for someone who's only been teaching for 3 weeks. "What kind of reports?" she asks, though her voice comes out smaller than intended. Morrison opens the first folder with theatrical precision. "Multiple parents have expressed concerns about your qualifications for working with their children." He slides a printed email across the desk. Ruby recognizes the names as parents of Hunter's closest friends. The accusations range from incompetence to implied impropriety, each one carefully crafted to sound plausible while being impossible to definitively disprove. "I want you to know," Morrison continues, "that I'm trying to protect you here. Perhaps it would be better if you submitted your resignation before this situation gets worse." Ruby's hands tremble as she reads the accusations. Months of student loans and sleepless nights studying suddenly feel worthless in the face of such calculated malice. "These claims are false," she says, but her voice lacks the conviction she wishes she could muster. "I've done nothing wrong." Morrison's expression suggests he doesn't believe her, or perhaps doesn't care. His primary concern is avoiding scandal that might affect the school's reputation. The breaking point arrives during Ruby's 4th week, when Hunter orchestrates his most vicious attack yet. He combines psychological manipulation with physical intimidation in a way that leaves Ruby questioning her own sanity. Using Ethan's technical skills, they hack the classroom's sound system during her advanced calculus class. What starts as background static gradually becomes explicit audio recordings that seem to feature Ruby's voice engaging in inappropriate conversations. 23 students sit in stunned silence as their teacher frantically tries to locate the source of the disturbing sounds. Ruby's face burns with humiliation as she realizes the voices have been manipulated to sound like her engaging in sexual acts. She runs to the control panel, pressing buttons desperately while the fabricated audio continues. Several students begin recording with their phones, capturing her distress for later entertainment. "Turn it off!" Ruby's voice cracks with desperation. "Please, someone help me turn it off." But the students just stare at her with expressions ranging from amusement to disgust. They've been conditioned to see teachers as authority figures, and watching one lose control provides a twisted satisfaction. Hunter sits in the back row with a slight smile. His phone is already uploading the footage to multiple social media platforms. The audio finally stops when Ruby locates the master switch, but the damage is done. Within hours, clips of her panicked reaction are trending on local social media, with hashtags like #TryHarderCrazyTeacher and #HydreHumPinnacle Scandal. Parents demand emergency meetings. Local news stations call for statements. Ruby's professional reputation lies in ruins based on fabricated evidence she can't prove is fake. That evening, Ruby sits in her car in the school parking lot, unable to face going home to her empty apartment. Tears stream down her face as she scrolls through hundreds of cruel comments about her appearance, her competence, her character. She's never felt more alone in her life. Every system she trusted to protect her has failed, and she can't understand why she's become the target of such coordinated cruelty. Vincent appears beside her car like a guardian angel. His motorcycle boots crunch on gravel as he approaches her driver's side window. Ruby looks up through tear-filled eyes at this stranger, who seems oddly familiar. There's something about his presence that makes her feel safe, despite her current paranoia about trusting anyone. Rough day? Vincent's voice carries decades of experience with pain. He recognizes the look of someone who's been systematically broken down by forces beyond their control. Ruby wipes her eyes with shaking hands, embarrassed to be seen in such a vulnerable state. "I'm sorry. I don't think we've met." Vincent nods toward the school building. "I've been watching what they're doing to you. It's not right." The simple acknowledgement that her persecution is real and deliberate breaks something loose in Ruby's chest. She starts sobbing with relief that someone finally sees the truth. "I don't understand why this is happening," she whispers. "I just wanted to teach." Vincent's jaw tightens as he thinks about his sister, about all the innocent people who've been destroyed by wealthy bullies who face no consequences. Sometimes the system fails good people. That's when other systems have to activate. He hands her a business card with nothing but a phone number. "When you're ready to fight back instead of just surviving, call me." Ruby stares at the plain white card, wondering what this stranger could possibly do against the combined power of the Blackwood family. "Who are you?" she asks, but Vincent is already walking back to his motorcycle. "Someone who understands what it's like to lose everything to people who think money makes them untouchable," he calls over his shoulder. The Harley's engine roars to life, and he disappears into the night. Ruby sits alone in the empty parking lot, holding the mysterious card. For the first time in weeks, she feels something other than despair growing in her chest. She doesn't know who Vincent is or what he can do, but his quiet confidence suggests capabilities that extend far beyond what meets the eye. Tomorrow, she'll have to decide whether to keep running or start fighting. Meanwhile, Hunter celebrates his victory at an exclusive restaurant downtown. His father raises a toast to his son's leadership skills in handling the Ruby situation. "You showed real maturity in dealing with that problem," Blackwood Sr. says, his pride evident. Sometimes people need to be reminded of their place in the natural order. Hunter accepts the praise with practiced humility, but inside he's already planning his next target. Destroying Ruby Patterson was just the beginning of what he's capable of. Vincent spends the night making phone calls to contacts across 3 states. His network includes everyone from federal agents to former special operations soldiers to legitimate businessmen who owe him favors. Each conversation is brief and coded, but the message is clear. Someone has crossed a line that demands response. "We might have a situation developing," he tells Marcus "Tank" Rodriguez, his oldest friend and second in command. "I'll know more after I talk to the target tomorrow." Ruby stares at the ceiling of her studio apartment, unable to sleep. The events of the past month replay in her mind like a horror movie she can't turn off. Every instinct tells her to pack her bags and disappear, to find some small town where the Blackwood name carries no weight. But something deeper rebels against the idea of running. She thinks about Vincent's words, about fighting back instead of just surviving. By dawn, she's made her decision. The next morning, Ruby calls the number on Vincent's card. His voice is calm and unsurprised when he answers. "I was wondering when I'd hear from you," he says. "Are you ready to learn who's really behind this?" Ruby takes a deep breath, feeling like she's about to step off a cliff into unknown territory. I need to know what I'm up against." Vincent's slight chuckle carries no humor. "Trust me, Ruby. What you're up against is nothing compared to what's about to be unleashed on them." As Ruby sits across from Vincent in his seemingly ordinary motorcycle repair shop, she has no idea that she's about to enter a world where justice operates by entirely different rules. The man helping her isn't just a concerned citizen, but someone whose very name makes powerful people wake up in cold sweats. Hunter Blackwood thinks he's won the game, but he doesn't understand that he's been playing in the minor leagues while Vincent operates at a level that would terrify him. Watching Ruby's courage slowly return as she realizes she's not alone anymore, one question burns in your mind about what you would do in her situation. Comment below and tell me, if you discovered your student was systematically destroying a teacher's life just for sport, what would your next move be? Would you try to work within the system, or would you call someone like Vincent? Vincent's motorcycle shop appears ordinary from the street. Oil-stained concrete floors and scattered tools suggest a simple mechanic's business. But Ruby notices details that don't quite fit. The security cameras are military-grade. The computer equipment looks expensive, and several men working on bikes carry themselves with the disciplined posture of former soldiers. Vincent pours coffee from a machine that costs more than most people's cars. "Ruby, what I'm about to tell you will change how you see everything." He opens a laptop, revealing files that make Ruby's blood run cold. Detailed financial records show Hunter's family laundering money through offshore accounts, Judge Sterling taking bribes to fix court cases, and Vanderbilt Sr. hiding $200 million from federal tax authorities. "How did you get this?" Ruby whispers, staring at documents that could destroy three of the most powerful families in the state. Vincent's smile carries no warmth. "Let's just say I have friends in interesting places." Over the next week, mysterious accidents begin plaguing Hunter's inner circle. Ethan's custom laptop crashes permanently, losing months of carefully collected blackmail material on various students and teachers. Logan's father receives an unexpected IRS audit that freezes the family's assets while investigators examine suspicious transactions. Hunter's prized Ferrari appears in the school parking lot covered in spray paint, reading "Karma is coming" in blood-red letters. Hunter's paranoia reaches new heights as his carefully constructed world starts crumbling. Phone calls go unanswered, computer systems malfunction at crucial moments, and people who once feared his family name suddenly seem emboldened to speak out. He doesn't connect these events to Ruby, assuming instead that some rival family is making a power play. His arrogance blinds him to the possibility that he might have pushed the wrong person too far. The three fathers convene an emergency meeting at the exclusive Pinnacle Country Club. Blackwood Sr. pounds his fist on the mahogany conference table while his associates nurse expensive whiskey. "Someone is challenging our authority," he snarls, "and I won't tolerate disrespect from whatever lowlife thinks they can intimidate us." Vanderbilt Sr. nods grimly. "My sources say it's connected to that teacher situation. Maybe we underestimated how much support she has." Judge Sterling, accustomed to controlling outcomes from his bench, leans forward with cold determination. "Gentlemen, I've made some calls. This ends tomorrow, permanently. I'm issuing warrants for her arrest on fabricated charges. Once she's in custody, we can make this entire problem disappear." The three men shake hands, confident that their combined power can crush anyone foolish enough to oppose them. They've never encountered someone who operates entirely outside their system of influence. Ruby's situation deteriorates rapidly as the coordinated assault intensifies. Her bank accounts are completely frozen, her teaching license gets suspended pending investigation, and her landlord serves eviction papers with obvious satisfaction. She finds herself sitting on a bench outside the courthouse, holding a cardboard box containing her few possessions. Everything she worked for has been systematically destroyed by people who see her as nothing more than an entertaining target. Vincent appears beside her like a guardian angel. "They think they've won," he says quietly, watching Ruby's defeated expression. "But they don't understand that sometimes you have to let your enemy believe they're victorious before you show them what real power looks like." Ruby looks up at this mysterious man who's become her only ally. "What are you talking about?" "I've lost everything." Vincent's phone buzzes with a text message. He glances at it and his expression hardens into something that would terrify seasoned criminals. "Ruby, tomorrow Hunter is planning to humiliate you publicly in front of the entire school. He wants to force you to apologize and quit on livestream." Ruby's stomach drops at the thought of such complete degradation. "How do you know this?" Vincent's smile carries promises of violence. "Because I know everything about these people. And tomorrow, they're going to learn what happens when you hurt innocent people in my territory." That evening, Hunter finalizes his grand plan with theatrical precision. He arranges for local media to attend a special assembly where Ruby will be forced to confess her alleged crimes before being escorted off campus forever. The cafeteria gets transformed into a courtroom setting with cameras positioned to capture every humiliating moment. Hunter envisions the footage going viral, cementing his reputation as someone who destroys those who dare challenge him. Ruby spends her last night as a teacher preparing for what feels like her execution. She has no idea that across the city, 50 phones simultaneously receive a message that will change everything. The text is brief, but carries the weight of absolute authority. Code Red, Teacher under attack, Pinnacle Academy. All units respond. This is not a drill. The next morning arrives gray and overcast, matching Ruby's mood as she drives to Pinnacle Academy for what she believes will be her final humiliation. She parks her beat-up Honda between luxury vehicles that cost more than she'll earn in 5 years. Students and staff gather in the cafeteria with excitement. Most don't understand what they're about to witness, but everyone senses that something significant is happening. Hunter takes center stage with the confidence of someone who's never faced real consequences. Microphones and cameras capture his every word as he begins what he thinks will be his greatest triumph. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today to address serious allegations against someone who was supposed to educate our children. His voice carries across the packed cafeteria. Parents on the balcony nod approvingly, while teachers shift uncomfortably. Ruby enters the cafeteria looking small and defeated. Whispers follow her as she walks toward the center of the room, where Hunter waits with predatory satisfaction. "Miss Patterson," his voice drips with false sympathy. "You have something to say to our community, don't you?" The cameras focus on her trembling figure. Hunter's plan is working perfectly. But instead of breaking down as expected, something changes in Ruby's expression. Months of systematic abuse have burned away everything except her core of steel. She stands straighter, looks directly into the cameras, and begins speaking with a clarity that surprises everyone present. "You want me to confess to crimes I didn't commit? Fine. But first, let me tell you about the real crimes happening in this school." Using her photographic memory, Ruby recites exact dates, times, and witnesses to Hunter's campaign of terror. She details every manufactured crisis, every fabricated scandal, every coordinated attack on her character and career. The audience shifts uncomfortably as the scope of the conspiracy becomes clear. Parents who supported Hunter's actions suddenly realize they've been manipulated by a teenage psychopath. Hunter's confidence evaporates as Ruby systematically dismantles his narrative. "She's lying!" he shouts, but his panic betrays guilt to everyone watching. "You can't prove any of this." Ruby's smile carries bitter satisfaction. "Actually, I can, because someone has been documenting everything." She produces a tablet showing screenshots of deleted social media posts, recorded phone calls, and financial transactions that prove the conspiracy. The first sound arrives as a distant rumble that makes the building's windows vibrate. Conversations stop as everyone tries to identify the source of the growing noise. Hunter looks around nervously. This wasn't part of his script. The rumbling grows louder, joined by more engines until it sounds like approaching thunder. 50 Harley-Davidson motorcycles are converging on Pinnacle Academy from every direction. Students rush to windows as the massive formation of bikers fills the parking lot. Leather-clad figures dismount their machines with military precision, while parents on the balcony start making frantic phone calls. Hunter stares in disbelief. What the hell is happening? His voice cracks with the first hint of real fear he's ever experienced. Vincent enters the cafeteria through the main doors. His presence immediately commands attention as conversations die and cameras swing toward this mysterious figure. Dressed in full motorcycle leathers with 10 armed bikers flanking him like an honor guard, he radiates the kind of authority that makes powerful people reconsider their life choices. The clicking of his boots echoes through the sudden silence. "Nobody," Vincent's voice carries deadly calm, "and I mean nobody, harms a teacher in my territory." He stops directly in front of Hunter, who suddenly looks like the spoiled child he really is. All his manufactured confidence disappears when faced with genuine danger. "You thought you could destroy an innocent woman for entertainment? You thought your daddy's money made you untouchable?" Hunter tries to maintain his arrogance, but his voice wavers. "Do you know who I am? Who my father is?" Vincent's laugh contains no humor. "Kid, I know exactly who you are. The question is whether you know who I am." He removes his helmet, revealing a face that makes several parents gasp in recognition. Vincent "Viper" Hayes is more than just a local mechanic. The cafeteria erupts in chaos as 3 expensive cars screech into the parking lot. Blackwood Sr. leads the charge, followed by Vanderbilt Sr. and Judge Sterling. They burst through the doors with the confidence of men accustomed to buying their way out of any problem. "How much do you want?" Blackwood Sr. demands, pulling out his checkbook. "Name your price and disappear." Vincent turns to face the 3 most powerful men in the city. Their expressions change from arrogance to terror as they recognize him. Blackwood Sr.'s checkbook falls from nerveless fingers. "Oh, God, you're the ghost." Vanderbilt Sr. starts shaking as he realizes his offshore banking crimes are known. Judge Sterling understands that his bribery records are in Vincent's possession. "Gentlemen," Vincent's voice carries the weight of absolute power. "You've been very bad boys, and now you're going to make it right." The live stream continues broadcasting as 3 pillars of the community slowly sink to their knees before Ruby. Their public humiliation is witnessed by millions of viewers who can't believe what they're seeing. "We're sorry," Blackwood Sr.'s voice breaks as he speaks to Ruby. "Please forgive us. We didn't know." Vincent cuts him off with a gesture. "You didn't know that actions have consequences, that innocent people deserve protection. You're going to learn." Judge Sterling and Vanderbilt Sr. add their tearful apologies. 3 men who once controlled everything now grovel before the teacher they tried to destroy. Hunter stares in disbelief as his world collapses. "Dad, what are you doing? Why are you apologizing to her?" His father can't meet his eyes. Shut up, Hunter. Just shut up. The realization hits Hunter like a physical blow. For the first time in his life, his family's power means nothing. Principal Morrison appears with campus security, then stops dead when he sees Vincent and his bikers. I think there's been some misunderstanding. Vincent's look silences him immediately. The only misunderstanding was thinking you could protect bullies from consequences. Clear out your office. You're finished here. The immediate aftermath unfolds like dominoes falling. Hunter, Ethan, and Logan are expelled permanently, while their fathers face federal investigations into their business practices. Ruby is reinstated with a public apology and promotion to department head. The school board announces comprehensive reforms to prevent future abuse. Vincent prepares to leave as quietly as he arrived. The 50 bikers mount their machines with the same precision they showed arriving. Ruby approaches him before he can disappear. "Thank you" doesn't seem adequate. Vincent's rare, genuine smile transforms his weathered features. Just remember that good people aren't alone in this world. There are guardians watching, even when you can't see them. 6 months later, Pinnacle Academy operates under new management with strict anti-bullying policies. Ruby thrives as department head while helping other teachers recognize and report abuse. The Blackwood family has relocated to another state after their business empire collapsed. Hunter attends a military boarding school where his attitude adjustments are supervised by former drill sergeants. Ruby stands in her newly renovated classroom, watching students work on calculus problems with genuine engagement. The fear and tension that once permeated the school has been replaced by an atmosphere of mutual respect. She thinks often about Vincent and wonders if he's protecting other innocent people. His network of guardian angels seems to operate everywhere justice is needed. The story should end here, with good triumphing over evil and bullies facing consequences. Ruby has found her place in the world, while Vincent has disappeared back into the shadows from which he emerged. Justice has been served, victims have been protected, and the powerful have learned that money can't buy immunity from basic human decency. But as Ruby locks her classroom door and walks toward the parking lot, she notices something that makes her blood freeze. A familiar black Harley-Davidson is parked near the school entrance. Vincent leans against his motorcycle, but his expression carries none of the satisfaction she expected. Instead, his face shows grim concern. "Ruby," his voice carries urgency she's never heard before. "We need to talk. The Blackwood situation was just the beginning." He hands her a folder thick with photographs and documents. "There's something much bigger happening here, something that connects to schools across 3 states." Ruby opens the folder and her hands start shaking. Dozens of photos show similar scenes of systematic bullying, destroyed teachers, and wealthy families using their influence to protect their criminal children. "What is this?" she whispers, recognizing the coordinated nature of the attacks. Vincent's jaw tightens. "It's a network, Ruby. These families don't just protect their own kids, they're training them to destroy anyone who threatens their power structure." A new voice speaks from the shadows beside the building. "And now that you've disrupted their operation here, they're going to come for both of you." Ruby spins around to see a woman in her 50s stepping into the light. Her FBI badge glints in the parking lot illumination. "Agent Sarah Chen, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mr. Hayes, Ms. Patterson, you've just exposed the tip of a very dangerous iceberg." Vincent nods grimly, as if he's been expecting this moment. "Ruby, remember when I said sometimes the system fails and other systems have to activate? Well, you just activated something that's going to change everything." Agent Chen approaches with files that dwarf Vincent's folder. "There's a nationwide conspiracy involving wealthy families, corrupt officials, and systematic destruction of anyone who threatens their children's impunity." Ruby stares at the evidence surrounding her. "You're saying this is bigger than just Hunter?" Agent Chen's expression confirms her worst fears. Hunter Blackwood was one of dozens of operatives being trained to destroy teachers, administrators, and students who might expose their activities. And now that you've taken down their test site, they're mobilizing resources you can't imagine. Vincent starts his motorcycle, the engine rumbling with contained power. "Ruby, the choice is yours. Walk away now and live a quiet life. Or help us take down a conspiracy that's destroying innocent people across the country." Agent Chen adds her own weight to the decision. "We need someone on the inside who understands their methods. Someone they'll underestimate because they've already tried to destroy her once." Ruby looks at the evidence of systematic evil spread before her. Dozens of teachers' lives ruined, hundreds of students traumatized, and wealthy families operating with complete impunity, while their children learn that power means never facing consequences. The thought of other teachers enduring what she survived makes her decision easy. "What do you need me to do?" she asks, and Agent Chen's smile suggests that the real battle is just beginning. Vincent revs his engine. "Welcome to the big leagues, Ruby. Time to find out just how deep this rabbit hole goes." As they prepare to leave, Ruby realizes that her quiet life as a math teacher has ended forever. Ahead lies a war against corruption that will test everything she's learned about courage, justice, and the price of protecting innocence. The parking lot empties except for three figures planning their next move. Somewhere in the distance, other phones are ringing as powerful families realize their secret weapon has been exposed and their carefully constructed system is under attack from forces they never imagined existed. Agent Chen opens her briefcase, revealing surveillance equipment that looks like something from a spy movie. "Ruby, your new identity starts tonight. You'll be transferred to Westbridge Preparatory in Connecticut, another school where their network operates." Vincent studies aerial photographs of the target location. Different state, same pattern. Rich kids terrorizing teachers while their parents buy silence. Ruby examines her fake credentials with growing disbelief. Dr. Rachel Porter, mathematics department head, with 15 years of experience. Agent Chen nods approvingly. "Your legend is bulletproof. These families have been operating for decades because no one ever connected the dots between schools. You're going to be our inside observer." Vincent's phone buzzes with encrypted messages from his network. "My people are already moving into position around Westbridge. But Ruby, this assignment is different. You won't just be documenting their methods." His expression grows darker. "Intelligence suggests they're escalating beyond psychological warfare. 3 teachers have died under suspicious circumstances in the past year." Agent Chen confirms Ruby's worst fears. Amanda Foster, car accident, after she threatened to expose a student's drug-dealing operation. Michael Torres, suicide, following harassment that mirrors your experience. Dr. Lisa Wang, medical emergency, during a parent conference that went badly. Each name carries the weight of destroyed lives. We think they're moving to permanent solutions when intimidation fails. Ruby feels the enormity of what she's accepting. "You're asking me to risk my life to expose murderers." Vincent's hand rests on her shoulder with surprising gentleness. "Ruby, you've already proven you can survive their attacks. Now, we need you to help us save others before it's too late." The sound of approaching helicopters cuts through the night air. Agent Chen checks her watch with satisfaction. "Right on time. Your extraction team will take you to a safe house for training." Ruby looks up at the black aircraft descending toward the school's football field. Training for what? Vincent's smile carries deadly promise. Ruby Patterson, the vulnerable teacher, is dead. Dr. Rachel Porter is going to be something these families have never encountered. A victim who fights back with federal backing and guardian angels watching every move. As Ruby climbs into the helicopter, she takes one last look at Pinnacle Academy. The building where she nearly lost everything now represents the beginning of her transformation into something far more dangerous than Hunter Blackwood could ever imagine. The war against systematic evil is expanding, and she's about to become its newest weapon.